How do you capture a high-value target when the whole world is watching? You create a masterclass in deception. The CIA set the stage with a single building as bait
and filled the sky with 150 aircraft to create a deafening sonic shield for the helicopters to drop Delta forces. The F-35s lit up the perimeter, turning night into day. By the time the dust settled, the helicopters had already departed, and the leader was nowhere to be found. We'll also look at how the US uses the F-35 jets and its Navy to launch a large-scale attack. In the dead of night, that is 2 in the morning, the lights went out in Caracas.
By 5 a.m., the president of Venezuela was gone. But how US played deception games? While the whole world were focused on the aircraft carriers, a shadow war was being fought on the ground.
This wasn't an invasion. It was a surgical extraction.
And the primary leader was extracted.
Let's start with step 1, the setup. This didn't happen overnight.
For months, the US had been tightening a naval quarantine around Venezuela.
The USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and the USS Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group were parked off the coast.
The pretext was clear. The US designated the Venezuelan government a narco-terrorist state. But while the Navy squeezed the coast, intelligence assets were tracking one man.
They waited for a specific window, a moment where Maduro was stationary and vulnerable. Step 2, the strike. It began at exactly 2 in the morning Venezuelan Standard Time.
High above, several F-35 stealth fighters punch a hole through the enemy lines.
Destabilizing their anti-air defenses. Like these Russian S-300 missiles located all over the strategic
Air defense destroyed!
With the skies clear, the path opens for Delta Force helicopters to fly straight towards the mission.
Here comes the deception. As the helicopters flew, the jets started firing with more strikes.
As it hit Fuerte Tiuna, the main military base and command center, and La Carlota Air Base,
Stabilizing Venezuelan air support. Reports from the ground described widespread explosions and a sudden communications blackout. The chaos wasn't the goal, it was the cover.
But how did the raid happen? We have to look at step 3. Under the cover of darkness and chaos, the Tier 1 operators went to work.
But what is the exact unit tasked with the mission?
It is the Delta Force, one of the most elite, secretive special forces units in the US military. Witnesses in Caracas reported low-flying aircraft skimming the rooftops, flowing well below radar coverage. The team breached a secure compound, believed to be a safe house within the massive Fuerte Tiuna complex.
Resistance from the Venezuelan Presidential Guard was swift, but ultimately futile.
As the helicopters laid cover fire, the operators moved with surgical speed, landing on multiple points. But how exactly did the capture and extraction happen? For this, let's look at step 4.
Specialized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended
And started the search for the high-value targets.
How did they find him? Simple.
In this fictional scenario, a foreign intelligence agency had placed an unseen asset deep within the leader's inner circle. While back in the US, Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. While operators breached the room so fast, the security could not even react to the situation.
As the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard.
Using a blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors.
Freeze!
Caught off guard by the sudden breach, the leader stood frozen as the operation closed in.
The primary leader and their close partner were confirmed as physically secured.
This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point.
These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings.
Adrig refueling in midair.
Within minutes, they were airborne, leaving Venezuelan airspace and heading to a secure floating staging base in the Caribbean. Operation Southern Spear has changed the geopolitical map of South America overnight. But wait, before and after the extractions, there were reports of F-35 jets also leading the tip of the spear.
We'll look at how the United States used F-35 jets instead of F-16s for operations in Venezuela.
Because this is a well-organized and militarized, Venezuela has positioned advanced Russian S-300 missile Chinese radar networks.
Integrated Russian air defenses and Shahed drones along its borders.
This creates a highly lethal and challenging environment that older F-16s would struggle to survive.
As stated, around 150 aircrafts and a massive 8 U.S. destroyers were stationed there.
It also has 3 amphibious aircraft carriers and surveillance planes to turn it into a massive command and control juggernaut. Signals a readiness to counter Venezuela's entire air defense network if necessary.
But why Venezuela Air Force failed to intercept? As of 2025, Venezuela's fighter jet fleet consists of and about 5 operational F-16 Fighting Falcons. These F-16s are aging and suffer from limited maintenance
Due to U.S. sanctions, although they have been supplemented with Israeli upgrades.
Venezuela acquired its F-16 jets from the United States through the Peace Delta Agreement in 1982.
Where the U.S. does not use F-16s. Point necessary to evade the S-300 and other integrated defenses.
The advanced S-300V or Ante-2500 systems can easily detect and target older aircraft at long ranges.
The F-35s also bring unparalleled electronic warfare capabilities to jam enemy sensors.
Sending F-16s would have been a high-risk gamble, whereas the F-35 guaranteed air superiority. And that is how U.S. Special Forces infiltrated Venezuela.